previously on Car Cobbler. And it's going to take me probably, I would say, 6 hours to clean this shop when I transition from sandblasting into painting. And you know, my good wife is going to come and help me because she's just super at cleaning up, and she loves using the air hose, you know, and blowing dust all over the place. So the city that I was in before, I kind of built a little tent outside my garage door, had the air compressor and the sandblaster inside the garage, and just ran the hose out, right? And that worked really good, but I don't have an opportunity like that. There's no concrete outside this door. So I'm gonna have to do it inside, and the only way to do it is to tarp the whole thing. Well, you have to tarp the whole thing because the sand goes everywhere. It'll go right into the bottom of your socks and into every corner of your toolboxes. So I'm gonna tarp it, and I'm gonna dry sandblast like I normally do. Today we're going to talk about three things, because we get to move on from the sandblasting now. And so we want to do the actual blasting. I mean, we've been 3 episodes leading up to this. And then we're going to clean the garage, and that's huge. And then after that, we are going to do the actual spraying of the epoxy. And that's the fun part, because now we finally get to the point where everything's clean. Yeah. So I guess we could call this car Dusty instead of Cherry Red. Man, oh man, the amount of dust, clouds of it heading outside. But it looks really cool, doesn't it? I mean, it's kind of fun. The neighbors didn't come out of their house though. They're staying hidden. They're like, that guy's up to something again. My wife's gonna love me. And I think that's why she's so willing to help clean up. Because she knows that it's going to be the end of having to clean the dust out of the house all the time, which she'll be quite happy about, that's for sure. Yeah, you get to uncover a lot of stuff. Remember, this car was a solid car with some surface rust? Yeah, there we go again. You want to see what surface rust looks like? As soon as you sandblast it, it looks like holy rust. Isn't that something? That's the bottom of the door. And it takes forever, man. I've been here all day. Well, it took me most of the day to get finished tarped. And then, probably about 3-4 hours, I guess. About 4 hours to get those doors. And I've got one door completely done and the other door probably 3/4 done. It's just fine dust, but it's really abrasive dust. And I actually wonder how the air compressors can survive. So the top one up there, I've got intakes coming off of all 3 cylinders and hanging down in behind that tarp, so it's getting some cleaner air. And the other air compressor is in the back there, but it's still dusty in there. So eventually you get it, but you think about this whole car, man, that's gonna be, I don't know, This is got a loose bearing on it. This alternator is off of 1968 Chevelle, and it's got the separate regulator up underneath the dash here. And so, yeah, it's neat, you know, that they still have these at the auto parts place. Just ordered it online. I don't know what it is, $100 or something. And oh, this old one is a Napa, and the new one is a Wilson, I guess. So back in the day, you remember you had to have a core, you know, take the old one in and give them a new one. But I think now there's so many of them kicking around that they don't care anymore. They're just, nah, you keep your old one. Just throw it in the junk or whatever you're going to do, and we'll just give you a new one. This is us getting ready to start cleaning this garage.
Oh, what a mess.
Oh my, it's a mess. How come you're going?
I'm having trouble breathing.
Well, what did we figure? About 6 hours to clean this. We got it so it's just dust left now, you know. Well, it's really fine sand. Look at that, eh? It's like 10 to 7. Yeah, we came out here at 1, so. And my wife stuck with me till about an hour and a half ago. It's pretty amazing. She loves the air hose, eh? So a little while ago, I was blowing the sand out of the cracks inside the car. And she's standing there waiting for the air hose, because that's her job, eh? So I hooked up another air hose with a little gun on the end of it for her to clean tools while I was, you know, doing the car. And I finished the car. Next thing I turned around and she's got an air hose in each hand. like 6 shooters, just attacking stuff, man. 2 air hoses. But you know what? I think that I better find another plan. I should never sandblast in the garage. So maybe I was wondering last night, sleeping, maybe use the front, the attached garage, you know, like if I could seal the door off into the house with duct tape or something so absolutely no dust can get through there, because it will if it can. And then that garage has a man door on the side of it, which is handy. And it run the air up there and move the cars out, because it's just a square room. There's no furniture or anything. I could sandblast in there and then sweep up real easy. But there's no ventilation in there. Yeah, I don't know. Leave the front door open, the big door open, just hang a tarp over, let the air blow through. Anyway, yeah, I mean, we just cleaned this thing again and again and again. It's still full of dust in here, like it's just crazy dusty. I can go around with the air hose now and just pick dust off of everything. So, but anyway, there we are, you know, like it's sandblasted. Ready for paint. And yeah, so, because we got the paint today, I guess, I don't know, I was thinking of doing it tonight, but no, I better not. If it's already 7 o'clock, we haven't had supper yet, and it's Friday night, I should just, you know, romance my wife a little. She likes watching videos, eh? Maybe we'll watch a Netflix movie or something. For me, it's a test of patience, but she makes popcorn, so it's going to be good. Spraying this epoxy on, you know, is step 1 of how many coats. Well, I'll put this layer on just to keep the rust out, and then I'll come along later and scuff the parts that need to be filled. So we can expect to 1 layer of epoxy, then the fill, plastic fill, then another layer of epoxy, and once we get it, you know, like really smooth and stuff, that's going to be fun. I enjoy that part of it, you know. It's a bit mucky, but it's so creative. I got to be careful of this, it doesn't touch something. Because no, I didn't unhook the battery cable. Are you kidding? It's underneath the car. I ain't going under there. I have to put my coveralls on to do that. So basically, yeah, a layer of epoxy primer, and then a layer of filler wherever it needs fill, you know, you're going to fill. And then another layer of epoxy primer, just to make sure that it's sealed up, and then, you know, then the whole thing's black. And then I can go ahead with the high build primer, gray stuff, and there's going to be at least 2 layers of that. But the thing you have to consider is all of the sanding that goes in between, because that's the time consumer. And actually you get pretty sick of sanding after a while. But we'll work that down until that body's nice and smooth. Now, when you spray all of these parts, you know, some of it is good steel, like anything interior, and most of the body. But the fenders and the hood are from a different car in Saskatchewan that sat outside for years and years. And so when you sandblast them and then epoxy them, you can see the texture of the rusted metal, right? So that's why it'll be a couple of layers of the high build primer, because on these old bodies, you know, there's just a lot of stuff that needs to be straightened out and smoothed out. But after you've done the high build primer and the final sanding, then you go to the base coat, and basically that's 2 coats at the same time, you know, like with just a few minutes in between. And then once you got that on, then you're looking at no sanding for that one, which is kind of nice. You just make sure it's clean and free from dust and dirt and whatever. And then you go ahead and put the clear on. And that's always fun. Where's my pry bar? Yeah, so the clear coat, there's a couple different approaches. And we'll look at that too, because it really depends on you know, your paint booth or lack of one. But it doesn't matter what you have or don't have, you can do a great job on the clear coat, and it can just come out real nice. And this car here has got nice clear coat on it in the end with an awful lot of work, because I ended up wet sanding the whole thing. Man, I love living by the airport. The wind's blowing from the west today, so they're taking off over the house. Sometimes we just watch them go parallel to the house and take off to the north. And but today they're coming off to the west. I love watching transportation. There's a train track just down here over the hill, and I'd really love to see that, but I can't see it from the house, you know. We got a really good view of Deerfoot Trail, the main north-south highway through Calgary. And so that's kind of cool. But I can't see the, oh, look at that. They put a smaller nut on there. I can't see the train track, so, but I can walk down there, you know. And one more thing. If you're thinking of buying a Harley this week, don't. Why not? You know, you got to really pick your fund and decide what it is that you're going to invest in and what's going to take your time and what's not going to take your time. You know, I'd love to have a Harley. Wouldn't it be great? Or a big cruiser of some kind, and I've owned a few of them off and on over the years. But not so much in Canada. I mean, where we live overseas, we use motorbikes every day just to get around, and I've got a nice Royal Enfield that I drive there, and that's kind of fun. But the reason I say that is you should get a Harley if that's really what you want to do. You know, there's going into Lethbridge, south of here, I don't think the signs are anymore, but there was this huge billboard that said, it was advertising the Park Place Mall, and it's this picture of a nice lady, of course, you know, with shopping bags, and she's buying stuff, and it says, "You deserve to go shopping." And that's the stupidest thing ever. You don't deserve to go shopping. How do you know if you deserve to go shopping? If you got enough money in the bank to go shopping. If you got to use your credit card, you don't deserve to go shopping. And it's the same thing when you're buying a motorbike. You know, they're expensive, and you're going to be making payments on it, either that or you're going to have the cash. If you are going to pay, you know, $250, $500 a month, I don't know what they cost. then you should be putting that away ahead of time. And once you get to the point where you've got the cash, I mean, this little Pontiac Solstice here, we bought it brand new, cash on the barrel, for about $1,000 over half price. Because I was saving up for a car, you know. And then it comes up and you can make an offer, a cash offer. And it was during a time when the car dealerships were really hurting, about in 2009, I think. 2010, something like that. And it was the middle of winter, and, you know, convertibles, roadsters aren't selling very good. And I wasn't even in the country. And I just wired them the money and told them to put it in my garage, and I'll be there in the spring to drive it. But you know, you pay cash for that, and you've got no regrets. And so I'm just keeping that one for a while, and at some point I'll sell it. I just thought it'd be fun to just buy something because you want to buy it, and that's what Harleys are, right? You don't need a Harley to get to work, but you can have one if you can afford it, and if you can afford it, then you deserve it.